Gentlemen, listen up. This isn't just another dating advice speech. This is about transformation. This is about becoming the man who naturally attracts the highest caliber women, the kind of women most men only dream of. The truth? Women don't choose men based on luck. They choose based on energy, presence, power. And the men who consistently attract the best women, they follow a different set of rules. They have habits, unshakable, undeniable, and magnetic habits that make them stand out in any room. And today I'm going to share them with you. Most men are followers in their own lives, trapped in a loop of seeking validation, approval, and permission to be who they are. They walk into a room and their energy is immediately looking for cues. Do they like me? Am I good enough? Does she find me attractive? This is why they lose before they even start. Women don't choose men who ask for permission. Women choose men who decide who they are. The men who naturally attract the best women aren't the ones trying to be liked. They are the ones who radiate certainty. Because certainty is the most powerful force in human interaction. The moment you hesitate, the moment you seek approval, the moment you let the outside world dictate how you feel, you have given up your power. And the best women, they can sense it instantly. She sees the way you walk. She notices the way you hold yourself. She hears the hesitation in your voice. And just like that, she categorizes you. Not consciously, but instinctively. You're either a man who leads his own reality, or you're just another guy in the crowd. A man who leads his own reality doesn't enter a room and adjust to it. He makes the room adjust to him. His energy is felt before he speaks. He's not looking around, scanning for reactions, waiting to see how people respond to him. He already knows who he is. He's already chosen how he feels. And because he moves with that unshakable certainty, the environment bends to him, not the other way around. The world doesn't respond to men who wait for permission. The world rewards men who walk in like they own it, not because they are arrogant, not because they are loud, but because their presence alone carries the weight of self-trust. They aren't reacting, they are setting the tone. Women feel this on an instinctive level. They don't choose the man who needs them to like him. They choose the man who doesn't need anything from them. The man who is so immersed in his own reality, so grounded in his own purpose, that whether she says yes or no, it doesn't shake him. That's the man she wants to be around. That's the man who makes her feel something real. When you enter a space, people subconsciously scan you. They are looking for signals. Are you dominant or submissive? Are you sure of yourself or hesitant? Are you the man who dictates the energy, or are you at the mercy of it? If you don't claim your space, if you don't own your presence, the world decides for you. And when you let the world decide, you become invisible. Most men think attraction is about words, about tactics, about saying the right thing. But words are nothing without energy behind them. A weak man could say all the right things. But his hesitation, his uncertainty, his lack of ownership over himself, it bleeds through everything he does. Women don't respond to the words first. They respond to the frequency, the presence, the certainty behind them. A man who leads his own reality could say the simplest sentence, but because he believes it with every fiber of his being, it hits completely differently. Confidence isn't about faking it. Confidence is about knowing on a deep level that you are already enough. That you don't need to perform, that you don't need to seek approval. The moment you stop asking for permission to be yourself, you step into a power that most men will never reach. Look at the way the most attractive men move. They don't rush, they don't fidget, they don't seek attention, they naturally attract it. Not by being the loudest, not by trying too hard, but by being so centered in their own reality that others feel drawn into it. Women are used to men adjusting themselves, seeking their validation, trying to win them over. But when they meet a man who isn't doing any of that, a man who is simply existing in his own reality, fully present, fully certain, completely unbothered, it's electrifying. She notices that he's not impressed by her just because she's beautiful. She notices that he's not trying to prove himself. She notices that he's completely comfortable in his own skin. And that comfort, that self-assurance, it's intoxicating. The moment you start leading your own reality, everything changes. Conversations feel different. People react to you differently. Women look at you differently because you are no longer moving from a place of lack. You are moving from a place of abundance. And abundance is the ultimate attractor. Men who lead their own reality don't put women on pedestals, not because they don't respect them, but because they don't see them as something to attain. They see them as equals, as human beings, not as the source of their worth. And that changes everything. When you don't need to impress, when you don't need to prove, when you don't need to seek approval, you become a different force entirely. You become the man she notices without effort. The man who, without even trying, commands respect. And this isn't just about women, this is about life. The way you walk into a business meeting, the way you enter a new environment, the way you hold yourself in any situation, it all speaks before you even open your mouth. When you lead your own reality, you stop waiting for the world to tell you who you are. You decide, you choose, you set the tone, and the world follows. Men react, strong men respond. The world does not respect men who cannot control their emotions. Women do not desire men who are unstable, easily triggered, or ruled by impulse. The moment you lose control of yourself, you lose control of how others perceive you. The man who masters his emotions masters his life, and the men who always attract the best women are the ones who radiate unshakable composure. Imagine two men in the same situation. One faces adversity, a challenge, an insult, or rejection, and he crumbles. He reacts instantly, lets his emotions take over, lashes out, gets defensive, or worse, begs for acceptance. The other, he remains calm, collected. His face doesn't change, his energy doesn't waver. He absorbs everything but reacts to nothing. Who do you think holds the power in that moment? The man who breaks or the man who remains untouchable? The moment you let someone else dictate how you feel, you become their puppet. The second you allow a woman's words, a stranger's opinion, or a small inconvenience to shake your frame, you expose your weakness to the world. The strongest men don't suppress their emotions. They command them. They feel everything but choose what deserves a response. They don't waste energy on petty conflicts. They don't let rejection shake their confidence. They don't break under pressure because they're the ones applying it. Most men lose because they are too emotionally reactive. A woman tests them, challenges them, ignores them or pulls away, and they panic. They overanalyze, they chase, they let insecurity take over. But a high-value man? He understands that emotions are like waves. They come and go, but they do not control the ocean. He lets the emotions rise and fall, but his core remains solid. He never begs, never pleads, never breaks. Women test men unconsciously because they are wired to. They don't do it to be cruel. They do it because they need to know if you are who you say you are, if you can hold your frame under pressure, if you can remain steady when the energy shifts. They push, they pull, they create emotional turbulence, and if you react with neediness, anger, or fear, you have failed the test before you even knew it started. But the man who simply observes, who smiles, who remains grounded, who refuses to let small things shake his energy, he instantly separates himself from every other man she has ever met. You've seen it before. The man who gets emotional over the smallest inconvenience. The man who gets visibly upset when a woman doesn't text back. The man who reacts with anger when things don't go his way. The man who lets his emotions control his mouth, his actions, his very presence. That man is weak. That man is forgettable. That man is instantly disqualified in the eyes of a high-value woman. A truly powerful man, he does not seek revenge. He does not explain himself unnecessarily. He does not waste time proving his worth. He simply exists in a state of deep certainty, knowing that nothing outside of him can dictate how he feels. And because of that, people respect him. Women desire him. Think about the most powerful figures in history, the warriors, the kings, the men who led armies and built empires. They did not panic. They did not let emotions dictate their actions. They did not crumble under pressure. They moved with precision, spoke with purpose, and made decisions with calculated intent. And when people saw them, they saw strength. They saw control. They saw power. They saw power. This is why some men, no matter how rich or attractive, will always struggle with women. Because deep down they are emotionally weak. And this is why some men, even without wealth or status, command attention in every room they enter, because their energy is untouchable. Women can feel this. They can sense the difference between a man who is in control of himself and a man who is controlled by the world around him. The men who always get the best women do not flinch. They do not let emotions overtake them. They do not allow the outside world to dictate their inner state. A woman cancels plans, no reaction. A deal falls through, no emotional breakdown. A stranger disrespects them, they remain composed. And that level of control makes them stand out from the crowd of men who are constantly seeking external validation. The weak man reacts because he has no foundation within himself. He is like a leaf in the wind, tossed around by the opinions of others, by the slightest inconvenience, by the smallest shift in energy. But the strong man, he is the mountain that remains still while storms rage around him. He lets the world burn, lets the chaos unfold, lets the tests come, and he smiles, untouched, knowing that nothing outside of him can break what's inside of him. Imagine how differently people would treat you if you never reacted emotionally to anything unnecessary. If no insult could trigger you, if no woman's rejection could faze you, if no moment of difficulty could shake your core. You would be untouchable, unshakable. You would become a presence that people remember. Because here's the truth. Emotional control is not about being robotic. It's about being the master of yourself. It's about having the ability to feel everything without being controlled by anything. It's about stepping into every situation with the absolute confidence that no matter what happens, you will remain steady, strong, and in control. And when you embody that, the world bends to you. The man who masters himself masters the world. Weak men chase women. Strong men chase purpose. The highest value men, the ones who effortlessly attract the best women, are not focused on impressing anyone. They are focused on becoming something greater than they were yesterday. They are addicted to growth, obsessed with leveling up, and ruthless in their pursuit of excellence. And because of that, they don't need to chase women. Women are naturally drawn to them, pulled in by the sheer force of their energy. Most men live in a cycle of mediocrity, constantly wondering why women don't choose them, why life feels stagnant, why nothing changes. But the brutal truth is this: they are not men of value. They wake up with no mission, no purpose, no hunger. They waste hours scrolling, watching, consuming, instead of building, learning, and evolving. They avoid discomfort, avoid discipline, avoid the work that would make them powerful. And then they wonder why they are invisible. The world does not reward average men. The world only recognizes those who have sharpened themselves into weapons. Physically, mentally, and financially. A man who has mastered himself is undeniable. He walks into a room and doesn't need validation because he is validation. His body speaks before his mouth does. His presence carries the weight of discipline, of sacrifice, of relentless improvement. He has sculpted himself into something rare, something that commands respect without asking for it. Women feel it instantly. They don't just see him, they experience him. Because everything about him radiates power, from the way he moves to the way he speaks to the way he looks at the world. Self-mastery is not a luxury. It is the foundation of everything. Without it, you are a man who drifts, a man who is at the mercy of his emotions, his distractions, his weaknesses. A man who cannot control himself will never control his future. And if you are not controlling your future, someone else is. You either own your life or you are owned by your excuses. Every single day is a battle between the man you are and the man you could be. Most men lose that battle because they lack discipline. They say they want success, but they won't sacrifice comfort. They say they want power, but they won't suffer for it. They say they want to be attractive, but they won't even master their own body. They eat like children, they waste time like they have unlimited years, they settle into mediocrity, and then complain that women don't respect them. The hard truth? The world doesn't owe you attraction. It rewards the men who earn it. Women don't want a project. They don't want a man who needs fixing, who is waiting for motivation, who needs to be pushed. They want a man who is already moving, already rising, already obsessed with becoming something greater. A man who treats himself like a king, not in words, not in ego, but in actions. The man who wakes up early to train his body, The man who invests in his mind as if his future depends on it, because it does. The man who moves through life with a fire that no one can put out. Imagine looking in the mirror and knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are becoming unstoppable. That every day you are moving closer to your highest potential. That your body is sharp, your mind is strong. Your presence is commanding. Imagine never feeling the need to chase, never worrying about validation, never questioning your worth, because your actions prove it to you every single day. That is self-mastery. That is what makes a man truly magnetic. Most men will never reach this level because they refuse to suffer. They refuse to put themselves through the fire of discipline, of sacrifice, of relentless improvement. They quit when it gets hard. They choose comfort over power. But the men who win, they embrace the suffering. They seek the pain that sharpens them. They run toward the discomfort that most men avoid. They do the hard things not because they feel like it, but because they know that's where their transformation happens. Look at the men who dominate in every area of life. They are not average. They do not waste time. They do not hesitate. They have conditioned themselves to be relentless, to be precise, to be dangerous. They are not ruled by distractions, by cravings, by momentary pleasure. They move with intention. They wake up with a purpose so deep that nothing can shake them. And when a man moves like this, the world bends to him. When you make self-mastery your obsession, you stop asking for things, you command them. You don't ask for respect, you embody it. You don't chase success, you create it. You don't seek attraction, you become attractive. Not because you learned some trick, but because everything about you has been sculpted into something undeniable. Your body speaks discipline. Your mind speaks wisdom. Your presence speaks power. The difference between the men who struggle and the men who thrive is not luck, it's not genetics, it's not some secret formula, it's discipline, it's hunger. It's the relentless pursuit of growth that never stops, no matter how hard it gets. The men who always get the best women are the ones who don't even need to think about attraction. Because by mastering themselves, they have already won. Desperation repels. Confidence attracts. The men who always get the best women understand one thing at their core. Women don't want to be your source of happiness. They don't want to be your purpose, your reason, or your validation. The moment a woman senses that you need her more than she needs you, you've already lost. Because nothing is more unattractive than a man who operates from scarcity, a man who clings, a man who chases, a man who needs. Scarcity is the mindset of men who struggle. They see one beautiful woman and believe she's their only chance. They get a little attention and suddenly she becomes their whole world. They move with fear, with hesitation, with the constant anxiety of losing something. And because of that, they sabotage themselves before the game even begins. Women don't choose men who beg. Women don't fall for men who lack options. Women don't respect men who place them on a pedestal. They are drawn to men who already have everything they need within themselves. The man who operates from abundance is different. He doesn't chase because he doesn't need to. He doesn't overanalyze texts, doesn't panic over one girl, doesn't act like his world depends on the outcome. He understands that attraction is a byproduct of being a man who has options. Not just with women, but in life. A man who is busy winning, who is immersed in his mission, who walks with the energy of someone who could have anything he wants, but only chooses what aligns with his standards. That's the man women craves. Look at the men who struggle. They are anxious, they hesitate, they walk into a room and immediately start proving themselves, seeking validation, trying to impress. And the moment a woman senses this, she loses interest. Because if you are truly high value, why are you trying so hard? Why are you desperate for attention? Why are you treating her like she's above you? The man who truly operates from abundance never acts this way. He doesn't need to force attraction because his energy already commands it. You can't fake abundance. You either have it or you don't. It's not about pretending, it's about being. The way you move, the way you talk, the way you react. It all comes from whether you believe you have options or whether you're scared of losing your only chance. And women sense this on a deep primal level. They can tell if you are a man in demand or just another guy trying to be chosen. A woman should never be the center of your universe. She should be an addition to the empire you are already building. If you have time to obsess over texts, if you have time to wait by your phone, if you have time to stress over what she's thinking, then you are not busy enough winning. A high-value man doesn't have time to overanalyze. He's too focused on his vision, his growth, his mission. And because of that, he speaks differently. He gives off a presence that makes women chase him. Women want to feel like they've won something rare, not like they are doing you a favor by being with you. And when you come from scarcity, when you act like she's your only shot, when you place her above your own priorities, she senses it immediately and she runs. But when you move with abundance, when you show her through your actions that you are already fulfilled, already thriving, already surrounded by opportunities, she sees you as the kind of man she wants to earn. Most men think attraction is about looks or money, but they don't realize the real game is energy. A man with nothing but the right mindset can outshine a man with wealth if he operates from true abundance. Because abundance is not about what you have, it's about what you believe. It's about moving through the world with the knowledge that no single woman defines your worth, that no rejection can shake you, that you own your reality regardless of external validation. That's what separates the hunted from the hunters. The men who get the best women aren't asking if they're attractive. They already know. They don't seek validation. They are validation. They don't beg for attention. They naturally command it. And this isn't arrogance. It's certainty. Women are drawn to certainty like gravity. They can't help it. The moment they sense a man who truly knows he is the prize, who carries himself with that unshakable presence, they feel something they don't feel with most men. And when you stop operating from scarcity, you stop tolerating disrespect. You stop entertaining low-effort behavior. You stop chasing people who don't see your value. And in doing so, you naturally attract those who do. You no longer flinch when a woman pulls away. You no longer react when things don't go as planned. You move forward like a king, knowing that nothing outside of you dictates your worth. Most men wait for validation before they feel valuable. They wait for a woman's approval before they feel confident. They wait for permission to be great. But the men who win, they already feel valuable. They already feel confident. They have already decided who they are. And because of that, the world reflects it back to them. Abundance is not a mindset, it's a way of being. It's the understanding that you don't need anything to feel complete. It's the unshakable belief that you are enough as you are, that no single outcome defines you, that the only thing you chase in life is your highest potential. And when you move with that kind of power, everything, including women, naturally follows. A man who seeks approval is a man who has already lost. The second you look outside yourself for validation, you hand over your power. You let the world decide your worth. You let women determine your confidence. You let society dictate who you should be. And the men who live like this, who operate from the weak energy of needing to be liked, accepted, and validated, are the ones who are ignored, overlooked, and forgotten. Because the world does not respect men who beg. Women do not crave men who seek permission. Power is given only to those who command it. Respect is not something you ask for, it's something you take. It's something you embody in every word you speak, in every step you take, in the way you carry yourself, without hesitation, without apology, without the need to be approved by anyone. The man who commands respect is the man who moves through life like a king, decisive, unwavering, untouchable. His presence alone makes people listen. His energy alone makes women feel something they can't explain. Not because he tries, not because he asks, but because he is. Most men shrink themselves thinking that if they are too bold, too direct, too confident, they will be judged. They fear rejection. They fear criticism. They fear standing out. So they make themselves small. They dilute their power. They soften their presence. And in doing so, they lose before they even start. Because respect is not given to men who hesitate. Respect is given to men who own themselves completely, without fear, without apology, without bending to the expectations of others. The man who commands respect does not tolerate disrespect. He does not engage in arguments to prove his worth. He does not explain himself to those who do not deserve an explanation. He does not waste time convincing people to see his value. He simply moves with certainty, knowing that his actions speak louder than words. And because of that, he naturally separates himself from the men who beg for approval. Weak men try to impress, strong men leave an impression. The difference? One seeks, the other creates. The weak man changes his opinions to fit in, laughs at jokes he doesn't find funny, agrees when he wants to disagree, nods along when he should be standing firm. The strong man never betrays himself for validation. He speaks with purpose, stands by his beliefs, and moves through life as if he owes no one an explanation. And when a man lives like this, people feel it. Women feel it. They sense the raw, undeniable presence of a man who knows who he is. When a woman tests a man, she is not doing it consciously. She is doing it instinctively. She wants to see if you really are the man you appear to be. Will you fold under pressure? Will you apologize for your confidence? Will you seek her approval? Or will you stand firm in your energy? And the moment you seek her validation, you have already failed. The moment you try to prove your worth, you expose your weakness. But the man who doesn't flinch, doesn't react, doesn't change to please, he is the one who earns respect effortlessly. Men who are respected do not chase people. They do not chase friends. They do not chase status. They do not chase women. They build themselves into something rare, something undeniable, something that naturally attracts everything they want. They do not lower their standards to fit into someone else's world. They create a world that others want to be a part of. Seeking approval is the disease of the weak. It is the slow death of masculinity, the silent killer of confidence. It is why most men never rise above average. Because they are too busy asking, too busy waiting, too busy hoping to be accepted. They do not realize that power belongs to the man who takes it, who owns it, who never asks for permission to be great. The moment you stop caring about approval, everything changes. You no longer need to be liked. You no longer need permission to be confident. You no longer hesitate before making a decision. You no longer tolerate being treated as an option. You move through life with the quiet, unshakable energy of a man who knows his worth. And when you do that, people start treating you differently. Women see you differently. They sense something in you that most men lack. Look at the most powerful men in history. The warriors, the kings, the leaders. They did not hesitate. They did not wait for approval. They did not shrink themselves to avoid making others uncomfortable. They spoke, they acted, they moved with the force of men who knew their value. Most men will never experience this level of power because they are too busy seeking instead of being. They think if they are just nice enough, polite enough, agreeable enough, they will be liked. But the truth is, respect does not come from being liked. Respect comes from being feared in the right way, not through intimidation, but through the sheer certainty of your presence. The men who always get the best women are not necessarily the richest, the tallest, the most handsome. They are the ones who carry themselves like men who do not need to ask for anything. They move through the world as if they already own it. They speak as if they are already chosen. They do not play small, do not hesitate, do not dilute themselves for anyone. And because of that, women chase them, men respect them, and the world bends to their presence. The second you stop seeking approval, you become dangerous in the best way possible, because now nothing can control you. No rejection can shake you. No insult can affect you. No loss can break you. You become the kind of man who demands respect, not through words, not through force, but through being. And when you reach that level, everything changes. A man who is controlled by his emotions is a man who can be controlled by anything. He is unstable, weak, unpredictable, and easily manipulated. He reacts instead of responds. He lashes out instead of strategizing. He is a slave to his impulses, a victim of his own feelings, a man who will never be truly powerful. The world does not respect men who are ruled by emotion. Women do not trust men who cannot control their reactions. Power belongs to the man who moves through life with clarity, who feels everything, but is owned by nothing, who never allows temporary emotions to dictate permanent actions. Most men do not even realize how deeply enslaved they are. They let anger dictate their words, let frustration cloud their judgment, let rejection cripple their confidence. They let emotions pull them in 1,000 directions, never realizing that every time they give in, they lose control. They do not move with purpose. They are pushed and pulled by whatever happens to them. And because of that, They are weak. They are easily manipulated by women, by society, by the world itself. But the man who is unshakable, the man who is cold in the right way, the man who feels deeply but never lets emotions rule his actions, that man is untouchable. That man is dangerous in the most powerful way. A woman will test you and she won't even know she's doing it. She will push, she will pull away, she will say things to see how you react. And if you break, if you crumble, if you respond like a weak man who needs reassurance, she will feel it instantly. She will see you as another man who is at the mercy of his emotions. And she will lose attraction in an instant. Because deep down, every woman is wired to crave a man who can remain strong when she cannot. A man who is a rock, not a leaf in the wind. A man whose confidence is not dictated by external events, but by an internal force that nothing can shake. The reason weak men fail is because they react. They don't think. They don't step back. They let the moment take over. They let one bad interaction ruin their mood. They let one rejection shatter their self-worth. They let one emotional trigger send them into a spiral. And that is why they are never truly respected. That is why they are always playing from behind. That is why they never reach true power. Because their emotions own them instead of them owning their emotions. You cannot be both emotional and powerful. You cannot be both impulsive and respected. You cannot be both reactionary and in control. The men who dominate life, the men who get the best women, the men who command respect, they have trained themselves to remain cold under pressure. Not emotionless, not robotic, but disciplined. Their emotions do not control them because they have trained themselves to act despite their emotions. They do not lash out in anger because anger clouds judgment. They do not chase in desperation because desperation weakens position. They do not allow fear to paralyze them because fear is only an illusion created by the mind. Most men let a single moment define them, one rejection and they feel unworthy, one loss and they believe they are failures, one setback and they lose momentum. But the strongest men do not see emotions as reality. They see emotions as clouds, passing, shifting, never permanent. And because of that, they never let a temporary feeling dictate a long-term outcome. That is why they are unstoppable. That is why they always win in the end. A woman will not tell you this, but she will feel it. She will feel the difference between a man who is emotionally weak and a man who is emotionally unshakable. She will feel the difference between a man who panics when things go wrong and a man who stays calm under pressure. And the man who is calm is the man who is desired, respected, and followed. He is the man women crave in their most primal state. The man who others look to when chaos arises. The man who walks into a room and shifts the energy without saying a word. When you control your emotions, you control your presence. You control your decisions. You control your future. You no longer let a single moment of frustration dictate your next move. You no longer let a bad interaction ruin your entire day. You no longer allow emotions to pull you off course. You become a force that is immune to emotional weakness. And that is what makes you truly powerful. Weak men will always be ruled by their feelings. They will always take things personally, always react instead of strategizing, always let their emotions dictate their self-worth. And because of that, they will always be at the bottom. But the men who reach the top, the men who always get what they want, are the ones who have trained themselves to feel everything but react to nothing. The ones who never make decisions based on fleeting emotions. The ones who operate from logic, strategy, and unshakable confidence. You have two choices in life. Be a man who owns himself or be a man who is owned by his emotions. The choice you make determines everything. Everything you want in life. Respect, power, success. The best women comes down to one thing: how you carry yourself as a man. Weak men chase, strong men attract. Weak men seek approval, strong men command respect. Weak men are ruled by emotion, strong men control their reality. The difference between those who struggle and those who win is not luck, not money, not looks. It's energy. It's the presence you bring into every room, the way you move, the way you think, the way you operate from abundance rather than fear. Women don't choose men who beg. They don't crave men who need them more than they need themselves. They don't respect men who lack control over their emotions. The men who always get the best women are the ones who own themselves completely, who stand firm, unshaken, untouchable, who don't hesitate, who don't ask to be chosen, who choose themselves first. And because they do, everything, including the most high-value women, naturally falls into place. The moment you stop chasing, stop seeking approval, stop reacting like a weak man, you become dangerous in the best way possible, because now you are no longer looking for power. You are power. You are no longer chasing women. Women feel pulled toward you. You are no longer hoping for respect. You demand it with your presence alone. And once you reach this level, you will realize that everything you thought you had to force was always meant to come to you effortlessly.